Here we are again. It is the 7th of November, and I've got my old mate over here again, another weekend, and it's all a bit gimmicky, isn't it? But two different sounds. We've got a couple of glasses going. We're going to try and keep this one really quick, but he just keeps pulling up funny stuff all the time. So we wanted to do a follow-up to the little thing we did about the old Prez over here going to jail. Obviously not. And again, as we've said so many times, the reason for doing these things isn't to try and make sense of what's going on, but just to show how absolutely absurd and how totally staged all these things are. And I've just been reading a book which Mum gave me, which is basically to do with the same kind of thing. It's all to do with dodgy goings on with dodgy organisations, most of them having 3 letters in their abbreviated name, right? So I've got this first picture up on here. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be a thing, we're going to call it the Andy Pandy Show, right? Okay, now you can probably guess what this is all about. This has been going on for ages. It's basically the same old nonsense that we see over and over again, where nobody ever really goes to jail. It's all staged. They're all actors and actresses and all this kind of rubbish, right? But anyway, we thought this was funny. Old Serge sent me this the other day. This is from our Parisian sort of magazine. This is nothing to do with this, but anyway, there's the good old moon there. And look at that, it says the most beautiful super moon. But what was quite funny about this again is the numbers again. So you got 23, 33. So you got your 33s in there, 2 3s are 6, all that nonsense. I thought that was just brilliant.
Yeah, the name of it on the other thing when I looked it up was really funny, because it was called the Beaver Moon.
Right, yeah. So anyway, there's this other one here, right, this is supposed to be, are you interested in this post? A solar storm, right? Well, that looks like some kind of cake to me. I don't really know how anybody is ever able to take a picture like this. And of course, it's Mr. MB333, right? More utter nonsense that people keep tapping into, but it's always the number system. So I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, I'm going to have to slot some pictures in on this, because just before we came down to do this, my old mate here, he goes, here, check this out, right? So, once again, so-called women, and I use that term lightly, so-called women trying to demonise men against other women, right? And we know there's some dodgy blokes out there, so don't get me... it's quite funny just looking at this, just butting in. It's called the Shoe Man, right? Well, we know what name that is, don't we? But there you go. But anyway, the president of Mexico, whose name is
Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo.
Yeah, Claudia Sheinbaum, right? Sheinbaum, right? A good old Mexican name, if I've ever heard of it. No, I do not think so. Anyway, we've just clocked this video.
Yeah, I'm going to do a bit more research into it.
Yeah, so he'll tell you what the video's about anyway.
Basically, she's filed charges against this man that's approached her on a 5-minute walk around Mexico City, where this guy who appears to be drunk has gone up and has assaulted at least 3 people in the day. And approaches her and puts his, I think it's his right arm over her shoulder, and then goes to what it looks like grab her breast area before being tackled. But when you look at most of the stuff that's on there, it's not so much about what's actually gone on with this guy who's been arrested. They've blacked his eyes out and stuff like that. It's about her background and how she's become president and all the other types of things. And again, like Gary said, we won't mention, the middle name, if you want to take it, or the family name. You know where that's come from.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
Though she was born in Mexico in 1962, and she's a doctor of philosophy in energy engineering and an energy and climate change scientist.
Yeah, global climate warming, freezing, boiling change.
But again, she's an academic and the 66th, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, always
president of Mexico.
But the funny thing about it is, right, is first off, you only got to look at the ears on this this person and go, "Whoa, hang on a minute, there's strike number one." Right, sorry, dear.
And
there's strike number one. But the point of this is, as an ex-policeman officer, we always throw this in the mix, right? What are the chances, especially in today's rather dodgy climate, that anybody would be able to get within 50 feet of a person like this? The answer is not possible, right?
Yeah, it's like former prime ministers of the UK that have been egged, or other people like that. You know, they can get that close.
Yeah. No, you can't, because as he will tell you, as a professional, that they do have things out in the streets and various things like that, but nobody can get that close, right? Now, you've only got to take one look at this bloke and go, yeah, this is just not an ordinary guy. This is somebody, he's a fit-looking bloke, he's been brought in to do this, right? And the very next thing is all these dafties, right, as Glenn would call them back in the UK, my old mate Glenn, all these dafties freaking out going, look, this is what men do, right? But the ironic thing about it is that most of these people that are apparently being fiddled about with turn out to be on the radar as perhaps not, dare I say, born that way. Do you know what I mean, right? So once again, demonising men, right? And there are some horrible blokes out there, don't get me wrong. And then you girls turn around and you can't understand why blokes won't go anywhere near you because you're too dangerous, right? And there you go. So the little video about this is quite funny because it was quite short, but it was all the aftermath of, and this other Mexican woman going, yes, but it's not just people like this, it's everybody that is being assaulted by these guys. It's like, lady, nobody would go near you with a barge pole, let alone anything else, right? Unless they were completely under the influence of booze or something, right? But I thought that was really, really funny. And, you know, it's not a dig at people who genuinely have these things done to them. And we know, as old Serge again will tell you, as a professional, will tell you that these things happen all the time. Yeah,
they happen to men as well. But the thing is that
men get sexually abused by a woman, and everyone goes, "Lucky old you, mate."
Yeah, or they don't report it because they think it is it's more embarrassing. The embarrassment factor of being raped, etc.
By your female school teacher.
But we all know that it goes on.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, this isn't to rebuke what people are reporting or what people are saying. Maybe it did or it didn't happen. It's just how things happen at a similar time.
Oh yeah. And this is all. And isn't it funny how this just happens, right? In the last, what was it, yesterday or something? So in Mexico City, which most people, which I visited and I loved. You know, it's, you know, everyone knows it's a pretty dangerous place, right? Apparently there are dodgy areas, but you would not just be wandering around unless things were set up and placed that way. But it's quite ironic that this would happen, this little thing would happen just in conjunction with our subject of the day.
Yeah, which is why I thought it was relevant to bring it up.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about sexual assaults and we're talking about all the other types of things. And is this one gonna detract from what's going on with all the other reports that are coming out and all the links, which you'll all, if you're interested, you can find all this information. It's not made up. All this information is through a few days since last Thursday of research, a few hours, should I say, more than a few hours, into what's going on, as Gary called it, what we're calling the Andy Pandy story.
The Andy Pandy show. Right.
Yeah.
But here we go. So, again, like I said, here he is. Look, here he is. Well, anyway, he used to be quite a good-looking bloke back in the day. I always thought he should have been like James Bond or something. But anyway, anything that, as in my opinion, has a dig at certain families is fine by me, right? But as we've said before, you think about how long this has been going on. Now, as I said, the reason we bring these subjects up, other than the fact we do find them very, very funny, is the fact that it's so obviously staged and fake that you have to address these things and to why they keep rolling this rubbish out. So you had a certain family in America that were under investigation. Nothing ever happened. You had a certain group of people to do with a pizza restaurant, plus all the people that are used to visit there, including a certain bloke and his rather large silverback gorilla so-called wife. None of them got roped into anything, right? Even though the fact that they had so-called FBI files on all of this. Again, another staged stupid event, all run by a certain organisation with certain employees. Again, the old Matt's not nil, pulling the wool out of everybody's ears and so on, right? Then you had another family member of a certain political group who was under investigation for things. There's the laptop thing, the island thing, which is this thing. And like the cool guy said a long time ago, if you think things are going on above ground like this, can you just imagine what is going on underground, right? Okay, as David Bowie sang, Down in the Underground. So anyway, old Sergi pulled up some stuff on this, and we thought this was quite funny.
I thought it was going to not die a bit of death. I thought it was going to continue, but I didn't think there was going to be so many days of publication prior to what's going on, and there'll be a little mention about Wills and COP30 as we go through the preparation for that type of thing, and the Global Climate Awards and that type of stuff, and the reasons, and the reasons why. But you know, as I said to you, I have to be honest, as an ex
policeman officer,
military veteran,
real one as well.
An ex-military veteran and an ex-serving police officer. I was quite a royalist until all this shit started happening. Now, it's probably always been there, and before anyone turns around and said, well, you're not very
patriotic.
Not very patriotic and royalist anymore.
No.
When you actually look into, and it'll just be a quick bit of rendition on this, the history of the royal family, and most people know it, if you look at things in regards to the name changes and stuff like that. Old Andy boy here is now going to be known, as most people have probably looked and gone, as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And you just have to look into the history behind Mountbatten, Lord Mountbatten, and where Windsor comes from, and the reasons why. And it was all to do with the anti-Semitist Germanism after the First World War, where Mountbatten wasn't actually Mountbatten. It was to do with the family name. Family. Right, Mountberg.
Yes.
Right, which was changed to Mountbatten. Windsor is taken from Windsor Castle. And again, that was to stop the possible retributions that the royal family, the British royal family, could
none of
have
them are
had
British.
as reprisals after 2 world wars and other types of things. So, you know, it's not a criticism, but I've been told recently, well, I'm not very patriotic anymore, and I'm like, well, no, I'm not. And if what has been alleged that this guy was involved in, just because he was a member, or he's still a member of the royal family, he's never going to come to justice. And I read today, as I told you, that there's, I think, 16 members of Congress in America that have continuously written or a parliament to get him over to America to ask questions into the Epstein inquiry, which is still going on. But it's sort of detracted. That's just a bit of the history, and there's loads of information on the net about it, whether you believe it or not, whether you believe, like you say, 10% of the information is on it. But he's been stripped of his titles.
As if he really gives a toss, right? He ain't been stripped of his bank account, though. But anyway, again, the point of this is, if you look back through so-called history, and you look at how many so-called bods in this ilk, whether it's a royal thing, a parliamentary thing, and that, of any of them have ever gone to jail or really been thrown under the bus, you might find over 100 years maybe one or two that look kind of genuine. But the funny thing about this,
if you keep that one up a minute, just a bit on that, if you don't know what that building is next,
this building here,
that is the Royal Lodge.
That's where he hangs out, right?
Well, he did up until last week. He's got to go because
the old removal van was outside with his boxes.
I read a good article which was in correspondent to all these ones, that William, good old Wills, who's out in Brazil on this COP30 representing the the United Kingdom and his father, they've asked for him to be removed by the end of the week.
Right, yeah, exactly.
As they're going they're going to be moving into their property on the Sandringham estate, and good old Andy here is being moved to an undisclosed location on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Where you again be able to live for free, because he never lived there and paid for everything, as it says on the good old internet, with his estranged wife, who he wasn't cohabiting with.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got this guy living in this place with a strange wife, when you got people all around the world that are in bad situations.
Living like this.
Or living like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and you know what, like I said, the thing is, this is not...
Good old part of the Commonwealth, that photograph.
Yeah. They like to look after their people out there. The thing is again, this isn't about, you know, just pointlessly having a dig at people, certain groups of people, right? But like we said, you know, with this body and so-called family, right? Good old Al, family, so-called family, right? One of the points that I bring up with these bods when they start throwing out, I've never been into this lot ever, right? And my grandmother used to go on about, you know, how hard they work and all this kind of stuff. I really don't class going to parties and flying around on private jets hard work. I look at that as some sort of privilege, right? But nevertheless, this is what goes on. And when you look at like what Mark Dev did about whatever you think about Mark, it doesn't really matter. But I think he's pretty on the mark. Why all these people were involved with certain people. This is all put together as a big stage play and acted out by various people who've been brought up in this realm. But what was so funny, what old Serge was getting at is, William and the Middleton, the middleman, they don't want Andrew near their kids. Which I thought was hilarious, right?
That's what the report said.
Yeah, they don't want it. Right, yeah, the report said they don't want old Andy Pandy near their kids, right? And it's like, well, you've got enough money and enough protection that you would have nobody come within 100 miles of you if you wanted that. It's absolute rubbish.
Though there is a report on the net that you can read that says that though it's believed that he will be mainly residing out of public view on the Norfolk estate, that he may also reside in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah,
where he's got links, and Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah, of course, where all the stolen treasures are.
Because he's got links to Switzerland because he sold a property that him and old Sarah had purchased in, what year was it? I can't remember, but I had it written down. I got so many notes, but it was sold for something like 15 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's just like, another. When you look at what they alleging his net worth is, and this isn't about a royalty and the money and stuff like that. It's just about this guy is not going to live a bad life. He's never going to answer if he was involved in anything.
Well, they said lifelong actors, right?
And Guernsey.
Oh, Guernsey. Yeah, and Guernsey of all places. Right, but anyway, this thing here, I always remember seeing this a long time ago now. And here we have this certain person here. Now, I know all you girls out there are going to call me names and say that I'm a horrible person and that for calling these people out, right? It's always funny. It's always funny to me. It's like the Madeleine McCann thing, or McCain, whatever it is.
Madeleine McCann, right?
People are still talking about that. And it's funny, isn't it? All these people are... You never get some ugly bird or some ugly fat spotty kid. They're always cute kids and stuff like that, right? So this person here is the person in this main story. Just happens to have this picture here, you know, very long fingers... And the hands are always a certain way, right? So this person here, apparently, who's got a book coming out, right? Or
a book's been published in October.
Right? Yeah. So there's probably going to be a film made about this with some.
It's post-mortem memoirs.
Yeah, some knobhead's going to play the part of this person here, which we won't go into who we think this is. But anyway, this is an actor. I'm 100% convinced this is not a real person. And one of the reasons that we can pull these assumptions out is, first off, this person was paid off, right?
Yeah, allegedly, unconfirmed reports. Now, she's the one that's made allegations. You can go for a timeline online, but basically, without going for it, because obviously said we're going to keep this shorter, 1999 to 2000, she starts work at 16 in McDonald's. In the
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, Malago, or whatever it is.
The old Trumpster's residence.
Resort in Florida, which was owned by Donald Trump. 2000 it goes on. It goes all the way through to when the allegations were made. I've written it all down on a timeline, but you can find it on one of the pages. In regards to what happens and stuff like that. Now, if you believe that, if you believe what they say about all the connections and all the denials that have gone on, there's a great one about what Donald Trump has meant to have said on an interview going on to Air Force One the other day about Mr. Epstein and Maxwell. And if you actually look at the photograph of this young lady with Andrew and Maxwell, which was meant to be taken on the Caribbean island, when she alleged that it was the third occasion that she was sexually assaulted. Not saying it didn't happen.
Yeah, but why would you go back?
Yeah, why do you go back? From what it says on her memoirs, which I've read, that her father has totally denied it. She was sexually abused by her father as a child.
Yeah, which is what they always throw in, don't they?
Now, the other thing that is very, not so much important, but highlights some of the stuff that we say, that a lot of the stuff has come out now, particularly with the interview on CNN with her brother Sky Roberts Jr.
Sky Roberts.
Right, and all the other types of things, as we said, and I think you've got a picture of him on
there.
Yeah.
So
with the old butterfly.
Hang on.
No, it's not that one. That's what Trump is meant to have said.
Hang on, here we go. This was the big giveaway for me straight away, right? When old Serge sent me this, I was like, here we go again, right? So everybody out there knows about the butterfly, right? Why would you have what man, if this is indeed a man, rather low ears, very close together eyes, if this is a man, Widow's Peak, if this is a man, right, what man wears a butterfly, right? And people say, oh yeah, well, it's, you see, Gaz, it's because of this, that and the other. And we just pulled up some pictures. Here you go again. For those that, I mean, everybody knows. Everybody who watches this shit knows. This is your mnemonic programming thing again, apparently, right? So here it is again. No guy goes on, I don't know, any man, real man, anywhere who would wear a butterfly. And then you see them all wearing butterflies. It's the same with the old Kev Perry and all that. Everybody knows about that. But if you wanted something to freedom, why does nobody ever wear a white dove or something like that? Or it's always a butterfly, right? So as soon as he sent me this, I was like, well, there it is, right? There it is.
But all this has come out pre Wills's trip to Brazil.
Yeah, exactly.
For the COP30. And I looked at the COP30 thing, and it was all about climate change, the world leaders that are going out there. The old Trumpsters, according to the thing, he's not going out there. And I think it's actually started because obviously he's pulled away from climate change and donating lots and lots of money to different bits and bobs in regards to that because of the embarrassment to it. And I looked about COP29, which took place, and how much money, again, all these numbers that come out, $300 billion, you know, 227 billion pounds per year by 2035. And this thing about the world leaders and all that said they want from private funding and public, as it disappeared, from private funding and public funds, $1.3 trillion to be donated. Now, come on, where's this money coming from?
Exactly.
What's it for? So this isn't just about the Andy Pandy Show. This is about all the links and
giant money laundering scheme.
Well, it's being put together in regards to. Excuse me, in regards to it. And the thing that I found really funny was when you read the report, because this young lady died in Australia from an alleged overdose.
Bit like Prince.
Yeah. And we're not talking about illegal drugs. We're talking about prescription drugs. And as a solicitor, and we'll talk about that in a minute, her barrister has now raised issues over to whether or not it was a suicide or not.
Yeah.
Now, she was allegedly, to the reports that are all over the internet, due to attend court in regards to answering to a violent domestic case. She was involved in a car crash with a bus.
So been involved in a lot of stuff then?
Yeah. In a bus where she posted online that she had 4 days to live.
Yeah.
Right, of renal failure.
Which is
4
what
days
you do.
later, she came out of hospital.
Yeah. That's what you do. You see. But the thing is, like I said,
publicity with this has been going on since 2000 and whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And it links, and as I've said, like I said when I showed you that report that the Trumpster was meant to have said that he feels sorry for the royal family. This type of information shouldn't be coming out and all that. But, and I think he got it on there with one of the photographs, he says that old Jeffrey Epstein was a good guy.
Yeah.
A good guy. You've got, one of the screenshots.
Yeah,
and he likes good-looking women.
Yeah.
Like me, and of a younger age. I can't.
There you go. So it says here, the good old Donald, the Trumpster, lamented that Andrew being stripped of his titles is a terrible thing while speaking to reporters on board Air Force One over the weekend. Right, this is all bullshit. It's all made up. It's a load of old rubbish, right? Whatever you want to say. But like we said, there are people in the world who are mistreated. There are women who are terribly mistreated. So this has got nothing to do with that. And then there are people like this that I don't believe are real. This person has a very smug look on its face, right? Okay, this is the face of somebody who knows exactly what is going on, right? I don't know whether that is even that person. I don't know, right?
Well, that's meant to be her when she was 17.
That's right. But this is a very smug looking person. Now, somebody that is going through all this does not top themselves, right? Okay, they also need to be very, very concerned, like a lot of people online these days, that if these people are really trying to expose certain members of powerful families, they can have a simple car accident and it's all over, right? Why is it these people always top themselves or are never found like in a ditch where somebody's rubbed them out? So I don't believe this person's real. I don't believe this is real. I think this is all a made up story, just like the rest of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's even reports that say online with the thing that I read that the old Trumpster said that the photograph with Andrew VG, as I call her, and Maxwell, old GM, was a faked photograph.
Yeah, now it is a great picture that old Serge sent. Now, when you have a really close look at this picture, there is nothing here to prove that this picture is real and that he hasn't been pasted in, right? This to me here with old this old fellow here and this one, old Aunt Marge here, this to me looks like a doctored picture. It looks to me like someone's pasted this. Now this is a very famous facial picture of this bloke here. Now when we look at this one here as well, okay, with old
Liz Hurley,
with old Liz Lionel Hurley, who I used to think was dead sexy, right? Especially when she got a boob job.
Look at the hairline. It's the hairline.
Yeah,
at the top.
yeah. To me, this picture here, I'm sorry, where are these hands coming from, right? Okay, this is a bit like the old Whisper Jack. This looks to me like a pasted together picture. It does not look real, okay? And there are lots of pictures like this. Like, this is the old, the typical one. You can't tell me that somebody couldn't Photoshop that in. Of course they could. And I don't know who this is. But you would not want to, you know what I mean, right? But when you start looking at some of these pictures, like I said, we just got a few here that he found. You can just tell that all these people know exactly what is going on and why they're there to play the game. But what was funny was he goes to me, he goes, never mind about all that rubbish. Because everybody that listens to this, and girls, don't get me wrong, right?
No,
do not get me wrong.
Females.
I love the girls, right? And I am a big supporter, and I am not here to poke holes in things that may or may not happen to you. But what I'm saying is, do not be deceived by these people, and please do not be deceived by men that are dressed up as women. And I will bring this person into the picture. Now, this person here, now I can't zoom in on this, right? Okay, but I might try and zoom in on the thingy. This person here, who is quite obviously, in my opinion, also this person here, I mean, I don't know how many girls that have, I mean, this guy's almost got more hair than this one has, right? The ears are all up here, very dodgy. And like old Serge said to me, he goes, have you noticed how the hands are always clenched in a certain way so that you can never see the fingers? And that is because the fingers are one of those things that are a little bit of a giveaway, right? Okay, so here's this person here. All right, it's got wideish hips, right? But you see, again, the hands, they never show the hands. But anyway, you go ahead and tell everybody who this person is.
Well, that's old VG's barrister.
Right, so yeah, so this is the lawyer defending the family.
Well, was defending her.
Yeah.
Who practices out of the Supreme Court in Australia in Perth. Has her own barrister and solicitor company called KL Barristers and Solicitors, and also owns
this company.
Yeah, a company called Carousel Equestrian.
Yeah,
about horses.
About horses.
You know, the old Wikipedia sites and all the other types of things say that, you know, she's a huntress. And all the other types of things and stuff like that. But I found quite a few images, and I thought, well, you know, come on. And why are the hands, particularly on the website, bring up the picture with this one.
Right, here we go.
With the ladies that are on there, they all look a little bit more butcher than men. There's nothing on there for you guys. It's all to do with ropes and
this person here kind of got that New Zealand Maori sort of look, could be Mexican. Yeah. But why is this person pointing... This one in the green, if you know, you can zoom in on this. Why is this person pointing down? Is that way women stand? Pointing down at her, you know what, down here, right?
Genitalia.
Yeah, because they're trying to show you, like we've said before, that none of these people are who... Oh, there are. There's a better one. I don't know any women who look like this, and we've got some dodgy old birds around here, but they don't look like this, right?
Well, I know a few people that
I
know a few people that have had sex changes that look exactly like that, and there's nothing against them. They're nice people,
as long as they're honest.
Yeah,
like we
they're
said
honest
before,
about
be honest about who you are, right? Don't try and tell us that you are a mother and married to some bloke.
And it's all about this. This is the good old Trumpster with Maxwell.
I mean, come on. You're just trying to tell me that over all these years, right, this bloke couldn't sort his hair out. I mean, of course not. Everybody knows this person here, who I find extremely funny, very entertaining. Everybody knows this bloke here because of his dodgy hair, right? If you've got all that money, you would never go through life with that dodgy hair. You get yourself sorted out.
Well, there's some images of her on the internet at the moment after some assaults that have taken place, because she was given 20 years for 6 indictable offences.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God I've never been to prison. I've been locked up in the military, and that was bad enough. But it's again, you know, the links and the. We weren't really that good friends. And then, he's a great man, and we didn't have that much links together. Though there's photographs online, as I said, with Epstein, Maxwell, the Trumpster, and Andrew, all at the Maxwell mansion,
Ascot and all that.
mansion in New York, and all the other different types of things. And again, what it's trying to do for me is it's not about, like we've said, about slagging people off or debuting what has actually happened in reality to a lot of people, men and women.
I mean, we mean real people.
We're not the lies.
We're not talking about the celebs,
the
right?
Lies that
and that was hilarious as well. It's another thing. The old Beckham. We'll talk about that just quickly, and then we'll end this, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, you know, you've taken plenty of people off to jail, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is no way that old Maxwell is in a yellow jumpsuit getting beaten up in general population, right? There is no way that would ever happen, not in a million years. Anybody of any profile gets tucked away with same people of same profiles. If that was true, nobody's getting beaten up in jail. That person was just filmed, whoever that is, whether that's even the same person, filmed, and then let off to go off to do whatever it is, wherever they happen to be hanging out. But we did, to end this one, we just thought this was funny because in just over 2 weeks we've had this shenanigans, and we've also had old Sarkozy disappearing off to jail. And what was the other thing? The other thing in France was, anyway, we can't remember that. But the other thing was, what was hilariously funny was Neil goes, here, they've given old Beckham. Yeah, he's got his knighthood at last. Woo! Right, but tell everybody about the bloke who's walked around our realm, around the world.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff something or other?
No, Carl Bushby.
Oh yeah,
right, Carl Bushby, who started his around the world hike. His around the world tour on foot, travelling through every country that you can think of around the world, of course. And he's on his 27th year, and he's written 4 books.
27 years.
Right.
I bet he got through some shoes.
Yeah, there's some great photographs of him. He's an ex-paratrooper as well. Whoa, good stuff. And good on him if he's been doing this. Good on him. But and he's the only person ever to be recorded to swim across the Caspian Sea. So again, big up to him.
Did he get a knighthood?
No, of course not. He's not got an OBE like old Mr. Bex as well. This guy is due to finish his world walk next September. And that's what he's planning, to be back in the UK by September next year.
And he wants to walk through
He wants to walk through
the Channel
Tunnel, and it might be blocked. So
but they won't let him.
Well, he doesn't say they won't let him. It might be blocked. Great article on it. So he may have to swim the 22.9 or whatever it is
which
miles.
means he won't have walked around then.
Yeah, which means he won't have walked around. But he did swim the Caspian Sea to get across the other types of things. But it's just like, well, why? Why would you do that? If somebody that has represented and fought for their country and done all these things and been on this epic journey, stop him from coming back in by walking through the tunnel.
You're not in the club.
You can't. Yeah, you're not in the club. You can't walk through a tunnel when there's trains that are moving on it. Wrong again. Look into the Channel Tunnel. There's 3 tunnels underneath the ocean.
Yeah, you've been in there, mate.
Yeah. There's one that goes out from England to France, there's one that goes from France back into England, and there's a maintenance tunnel, which is more than a maintenance tunnel.
Yeah, it's big enough to put a train in.
It's big enough to put a train
right.
in.
So the point again with that little thing is, like, old Beckham, right, he had a pissy fit, right, and I actually used to support him, not because I like football, because I don't, I think it's ridiculous, but anyway,
he called some people the C word.
Oh yeah, he called a bunch of people out because that's what he was told to do, and they didn't give him his knighthood. And of course, the old Spice Boys jumping up and down now because you're going to get some more money out of it, I expect. But all these people are actors, right? It doesn't mean they're not good at what they do, but they're still actors at the end of the day. And all these things come out, and they all come to light, and they're all used. And one of the things that it said in Serge read was, it said, oh yeah, to do with changing street names. We'll end it on this, right?
Oh yeah.
So in good old Britain, there's places
I think it's Bedfordshire. Bedfordshire.
Yeah, which is probably like some, all these like Norfolk and all these sort of places where they apparently
where the cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
which is a good old French word, which means bottom of the bag, not end of the road. Bottom of the bag. Is called Prince Andrew Drive.
Yeah, and it's dividing residents. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about divide and conquer, right? Like we would say at the end of the day, right? These people, whoever they are not to be trusted. Any of them, period. Not this person here, certainly not this person here, right? And, we're a big supporter of real family, as old Al Murray says, right? We're big supporters of that, and we're big supporters of people that get married and stay together, we're also big supporters of protecting, in whatever which way we can do it, vulnerable people, whether that's vulnerable girls, women, or even blokes, right? But when you jump on this bandwagon and you start to believe in people like this and people like this and people like these people, whoever they are, any of it, right? And I can tell you, right, isn't it funny how this guy's just appeared out of nowhere, right? These are all actors on the world stage. You know, they'll make a film and they'll probably get, I don't know, whatever his name is. Who's the chubby bloke who lost all that weight? Who was from...
don't know.
Don't look up and all that. And, anyway, we know who we mean. Yeah. I can't remember his name. I'll slot him in. Right, these characters here, they're lifelong actors. These people here, if this is not a staged picture, these people here are getting the shit kicked out of them regularly. This little girl and this lady are getting the shit kicked out of them, whilst clowns like this walk around smirking, laughing, taking the piss out of you, right? Like this, right? Who are all paid off by a certain group of people, right? And you are supporting this. Do not support these people under any circumstances. If this person here was real, let's say this person was real. Oh, it's doing it again. Yeah. My lovely mouse. If this person was real, this person here, this person knew exactly what it was doing. And that is why it has a book out, right? So just be warned, you know, don't believe everything that you see, don't believe everything that you hear, and don't trust people that you don't know. The only person that you can trust is yourself. And if you trust yourself and you're able to get some people around that you trust, again, always keep your guard up. And that doesn't mean you got to be paranoid, but it's a great story again. Old Serge pulled up, you know, he's pulled up.
It's going to continue. This is not going to go. All this, we want him out by the end of the week. This is going
a lot
on.
Of rubbish. Yeah.
Wills is out there. This is that. What Trump has allegedly said in the interview on Air Force One. This is all distractions from what is really going on out there.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to end it on this one. Yeah. We've already actually rocked it out nearly an hour again. But we've just done a video, which obviously I'm going to upload today. So this one will probably come out maybe Monday or whatever. And we've done one on the old system that Sergi has set up for our solar stuff. And like we said, we're not really proficient in it, but I think we've got a good idea after all the research he's done. He's pretty good with that kind of stuff. So that's kind of it, guys. Over and out, and we'll look forward to doing something else. But like we said, I think it's very, very important if you listen through to the end of this. We are not pointing fingers at genuine girls and genuine guys, right? We're on your side. We're pointing fingers at these people because these people are not to be trusted. Right, so that's it, over and out, and we'll see what happens on the next one.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.